All right, in this lesson, you're going to be able to identify and apply the commutative property of multiplication and division. That's commutative property of multiplication and division. Please write down not only just what I say, not only what I show on the board, but also what I'm telling you in your notes. Okay, when I was growing up, the word commute, basically you would hear it in terms of driving to and from work or to and from school. So, for example, to commute to school, how long is your commute? That would mean how long does it take you to get there one way? And you would travel from home to school and then from school to home. And of course, that distance was the same because you're going back and forth. Uh, well, this is the same kind of similar principle. I don't know if that helps you remember it or not, but a similar principle to the commutative property of multiplication, which says that A times B is going to give you the same thing as B times A. So 3 times 5 is 15, and 5 times 3 is 15. Doesn't matter which order you put first or second, if it's multiplication between those two numbers, you'll get the same answer. The same is true for addition. Okay, so 3 plus 7 equals 10. 7 plus 3 equals 10. Okay, now this is important because this is not the same thing. It does not work for division or subtraction. Okay, if you do 5 divided by 10, that will give you 1/2. But if you do 10 divided by 5, that will give you 2. So it doesn't work for division. It also does not work for subtraction. If you do 2 minus 3, you get -1. But if you do 3 minus 2, you get +1. So this only works for multiplication and addition. Now, this is a pretty neat thing because if you see all these nasty problems I have up here, believe it or not, if you know the commutative property and its principle, you know how to apply it, then you can do all of these problems in your head very, very easily. Very easily. Again, we said the commutative property basically says that for addition and multiplication, the order in which you do things doesn't really matter. So let's see what we're talking about here. 25 times 7, I mean, I guess I can do that in my head. It's 175, but some people that's not that easy. But I know it is easy, is 25 times 4. If we do that first, 25 times 4 is what? Very good, 100. And what's 100 times 7? Well, that's 700. So the commutative property would say instead of doing it in order, since it's all multiplication, you can go ahead and do 25 times 4 times 7. Okay? And again, that's 700. You can do that very easily in your head. What do you think about this one? Okay? Instead of doing 4 times 7 is 28, 28 times 5, and figuring that out, an easier way, I believe, would be 4 times 5, which gives you 20, and then 20 times 7, most of us can do that in our head, gives us 140. Okay? You can still do this when you're multiplying negatives. You just got to make sure that you remember the rules for negatives. Sometimes if you have a multiplication here and a multiplication here, it helps to draw in a parentheses just so you don't get confused with subtraction and all that. So if we have -2 times -50, that gives us a positive 100, and 100 times 9 gives us 900. And last but not least, probably you can figure this out already, -5 times -2 gives us a 10, and 10 times 29 gives us 290. Okay, let's do a couple of addition problems. 17 plus 15, we could do that. I know we can, and I know a lot of you guys can do that in your head too, but 17 plus 13 gives us 30, and 30 plus 15 gives us 45. A lot of you might think that's a little easier. Let's see, 26. Yeah, we could do it this way. Again, if you don't do it this way and you do it step by step, you still get the same answer. That's why we're saying these are equal. These are just might be helpful if you can recognize it and then use it. 26 plus 24, that's 50, and 50 plus negative 22 gives us 28. Here we have negative 8 plus 16 minus 2. Now, it's tricky, okay? I said that this only applies for addition, but we know when we are subtracting integers, what's the rule, right? You add the opposite, so we can turn this into an addition now, and so we have negative 8 plus negative 2, that gives us negative 10, and negative 10 plus 16 gives us 6, okay? And last but not least, negative 27 plus 77, again, gives us 50, and 50 plus 12 gives us 62. So, hope that's helpful, and hopefully now you know how to do the commutative property of multiplication and addition. And I bet that if you were to put this into a summary, if you combine this all together in maybe one sentence or so, that might be a good summary. Or if you have a better one than that, you can come up with that as well. See you next time.